Okay.
Oh, we're filming.
that's a-
meeting.
That means not on your phone, not eating food
For what?
during the podcast.
Oh, shoot.
People are watching. Hopefully, maybe, probably
It
not.
feels like I haven't seen you guys for a long time.
It's been forever.
It's been a really long time.
That was
I feel like I saw you guys yesterday.
no joke, though. That was a lot of fun this weekend.
That was awesome.
That was super cool. For those of you guys that don't know, we got together this weekend, rented a fat house in Santa Cruz, in Aptos.
Aptos.
It was a beautiful home. Just the three of us and our families, kind of.
Just the three of us.
You can make it if we try. Just the three of us.
Talking nutrition?
Oh, I thought you were going to
I'm sorry. I didn't
chime
mean
in
to.
on that.
No, you didn't want me to sing. You do not want me to sing.
Yeah, we were just talking nutrition, talking Coast Range nutrition. We redid our core values.
Yeah.
That was fun. We rebuilt our mission statement.
True.
That was fun. And we have some really exciting things coming your way in
sure.
the future. Like, actually really exciting stuff. Should we tell them?
No.
No.
Damn.
No.
You'll find out
Yeah.
soon, man. You'll find out
We're
soon.
building the anticipation here.
Yeah. No, we for sure can't tell them.
We are building.
We got to have, like, all our ducks in a row for that.
Yeah.
Every single duck.
How many ducks are there?
A lot of ducks.
Yeah.
There are a lot of
There's
ducks.
a lot of
It's a
ducks.
flock.
Right
There-
now, we got the beak
Yeah, for sure.
set for sure. We're flying in the right direction, though. That's
Yeah.
going to be cool. We also we did like some content stuff. That was cool. We recorded some videos on food,
Meal
Meal
prepping.
prepping.
meal prepping, stuff you should have in your kitchen, different recipes. Nat made an Asian chicken salad. That was pretty cool. Brett made some chicken, which, by the
chicken.
way, is in the fridge
Oh, okay.
behind the front desk for
Okay,
you. You're
cool.
welcome. Brought it
Cool.
back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
It was fun, man. It was fun. And then we had the coaches over Saturday night, and we raged. It was awesome. Cooked a bunch of food, some carnitas. It took way too long.
So good, though.
So
good.
It was great.
That one first.
I wish we could do it like every other month.
For sure.
That'd be
Mm.
fun.
It would be cool if we could go with all of the coaches and stay there for a few days.
Yeah.
And do
That'd be
like a
cool.
retreat.
Do like a 3-day retreat. We're closed Monday.
Yeah, dude. Or like, find a holiday weekend or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Do like a Friday, Saturday, leave Sunday.
I think it'd be cool to do it once a year.
Yeah. Me and Meg were talking about it last night, trying to come up with ways that we can make it happen. For the Coast Range Nutrition, I think we got to figure it out as far as the way we do it.
Yeah.
You know,
For sure.
money-wise and all that stuff. But for the coaches, how we can make it happen every year, I think we can do it. But it's
think
going to
we
take
can
some buy-in on the coaches' side, though.
Well, don't buy us another Christmas present ever.
Oh, no, I like buying you guys Christmas presents.
Just do a retreat.
Yeah.
fun.
This is your trip, your vacation. Where you're,
I think we have a way to like financially make it happen, though.
Cool.
But it's going to take coaches' help.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure they'd be down.
Yes. Help me help you. Okay. What are we talking about today? On our podcast that we haven't done in 6 months.
it seems like
It's
it.
been a little while.
We're back.
It's been a little while.
We are talking about 5 things you should be, or 5 or 6 or whatever things you should be tracking all the time.
It's 5 things with an asterisk on one of them. Because it doesn't apply to everybody.
Yeah, but it applies to
A good portion.
a big population.
At least half.
For sure. And if you want to be honest, it applies to everybody because most people are affected by it.
Yes.
Go ahead and say that.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I was like, I don't. You?
You are for sure affected by it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So we're talking about, the 5 things that you should be tracking all the time to make yourself awesome. Why should we track these 5 things? I guess is a good place to start.
Totally.
What do you got? Yeah.
I was going to say, so you can see where you're at on things. You know, if things aren't feeling right or not moving right, if without tracking, you really don't have a basis to figure out or how to correct it or fix it.
Totally. And it's what we work in is such a subjective business too. You know, it's really, I'm strong compared to what? I'm fat compared to what? I'm skinny compared to what? And it's so subjective. So putting numbers on things and being data driven is one of the cool things that CrossFit does all the time, and something you should be doing in your daily lives as well, so that you're not this constant. I think one of the things I tell people all the time is like, look, you're going to look at yourself in the mirror every day. You're going to be in the gym every day. You're going to feel the barbell every day. You're going to not notice difference, really. Like every once in a while, you might PR something by like 20 pounds or really crush a benchmark. And you'll be like, holy cow, I didn't know that I was capable of doing that, because there's these tiny incremental changes that happen every day over a long period of time, and it's hard to see it. So tracking this stuff just allows you to daily be like, wow, I'm making progress. I'm moving in the right direction. Or, oh, snoot, I'm not. I should stop and go back the other way.
Right.
Because these numbers are not what I want. I want these ones. So out of those things that we've got written down over here, which one do you think is the most important thing for people to kind of start tracking first? Not the asterisk one. We'll get to that later. Because that could be probably considered important for most girls. But yeah.
I would think so.
What do you guys think?
I would have to either... It's one of two.
Yes.
But I'm going to start with sleep.
And what was the other one?
Nutrition.
Ooh. See, I was going back and forth between two as well.
Were
Which
those?
What about you?
No, what about you? No, it's 1, 2, 3. What about you?
She asked you
What
first.
about you?
I think that you should start by tracking your benchmarks.
He would say that. I'm just kidding.
Because I think I think sleep is very important, right? But I think tracking your benchmarks will let you know if you're sleeping or eating well or any of that stuff. Because if benchmarks are getting better inside the gym, you're probably doing the things outside the gym necessary to make that happen. You know what I mean? Some people could get by, I think, when they're newer and they just are still eating like poo-poo and they're just making gains because they're new to this stuff and their body's going to adjust. But at some point, those benchmark numbers are going to stop getting better, and then they're going to have to look outside of that to be like, okay, what's going on?
That could be a starting point.
Well, that's kind of why I was going to agree.
And I was going to say, it's like, it's easy for people to do, too. It's not like this, like, okay, here we go. Let's overhaul your sleep and your lifestyle. Yeah, you've already made the decision to get there. You're already doing it. So,
well, and for our population, mostly people are putting their efforts towards getting better in the gym. And so it's like a baseline, right? Like we're starting with a baseline. And then if those things don't start to improve, let's look at these things.
Totally.
Now, if we were outside of the gym environment and we were looking, if it was somebody else or somebody who's just looking to change their diet or their body composition or something like that, I might go with sleep or nutrition first. But for the general CrossFitter who's coming into the gym consistently, I think that would be a good place to start.
And it's it's one item there that you can track that as probably more fun or, for lack of a better word, sexy in doing, because you can see where you're improving. It's not real fun to track your sleep. It's like, oh, okay, I got 4.5 hours of sleep last night versus I got 6 hours the other night, or whatever it may be. Yeah. Same thing with nutrition. So yeah, it's definitely a lot more fun. Give fist bumps or whatever it is.
Yeah, if you use SugarWOD, it's awesome. It's crazy because we had Zen Planner and we had a tracking app in Zen Planner, but like barely anybody used it. You know, and then Zen Planner bought SugarWOD, and so we integrated SugarWOD in, and everybody uses it now. It's like crazy. It's like all because of that little fist bump.
Yep.
Well, and the user friendliness of it.
You don't think that the Zen Planner one was user friendly?
I'm gonna be really honest.
Yeah.
I don't think I tracked a single workout in Zen Planner.
It was easy though. It
wasn't as pleasing to the eye.
That's it. That's all it was, really.
Yeah,
it was simple. You just put your numbers in. And
kudos to SugarWOD because they figured out how to like make it like super simple. Just like this, like click this, log your result. It just is so clean.
Yeah.
But there's something about and it's not like bogged down by a bunch of other stuff.
Totally. And there's the picture up there you get to put, and so people get to see their picture up there. There's announcements you can put underneath it. You could comment on people's things. It's really cool. So
it just made it, it made it a little bit easier and community driven too.
Totally.
Because you can see everybody on there.
And it's really cool to see people that pre-SugarWOD we're still recording, keeping track on things. I mean, you see Carrie Ann getting a paper book
she
out,
wrote the paper journal.
Paper journal. I've been using Beyond the Whiteboard for years before this, and I was able to log. Before that, I was doing paper journaling as well. But just having that data to track on, just to look back on. It's like, where am I at? Where was I at compared to 4 years ago from now? You know, just to see things where they're at.
I think a cool place to start for this for people too, if they're looking to like, okay, I'll start tracking my benchmarks. Try to pick 3 different ones that'll give you like a big broad picture of your fitness. So pick like a monostructural benchmark. So whether that be like a 3-mile run or 1-mile run or even a 400-meter run, or something that will challenge you for a longer period of time, depending on where your fitness is. That would be like a good endurance benchmark, right? And then a strength one. So we can dive into the weeds of strength and speed strength and absolute strength, but just picking something up, whether it's a back squat or a deadlift or a press or whatever, but something you got to use your muscles. And then some sort of gymnastics one, so like Cindy or something like that, 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, 15 squats, or maybe just max strict pull-ups or something, I think if you have those 3 benchmarks, and then you retest those 3 a minimum of like every quarter, like you'll get a good understanding of like, because you could have people be like, I've been tracking my benchmarks and everything's going really good, and you can just see them getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm like, what benchmarks are you tracking? They're like, my deadlift,
my back squat, my bench press,
and that's it. And it's been getting good, and it's like, so make sure you're tracking all 3 of those things. But I think that's a great place to start. If you don't have anything to use, SugarWOD is super awesome. We've loved it. Beyond the Whiteboard is really great too. They've been around the longest, and they have the most data, I think, of any outfit out there. Any other good ones that you guys have used in the past besides just good old pen and paper?
Pen and paper. I still have my journals from that. I always still refer to those sometimes if I'm looking for something to do.
That's cool.
Just what did I do back then?
Oh man, that's pretty cool.
So that's kind of cool.
I have no idea where any of my old journals
really
are. Yeah, no idea. I probably threw them away at some point when I was like purging.
Now, do you still track?
Yeah, actually, I've been very diligent about it recently because I'm trying to reset all of my new lifestyle numbers, so I'm like, because it sucks looking at my old numbers. I'm like, oh cool, I had a 300-pound push press, like that's not going to happen again, at least not in the immediate future, and so if I were to use those as percentages or try to constantly hit those numbers, I'm just going to be depressed all the time, and so like I had like a 5:15 mile, like that's not, I don't even want a 5:15 mile, like I know how much that hurts. So I've been I reset everything basically, and every new benchmark that comes out, that's like my new baseline.
That's cool.
And then going from there. So that's actually something cool, I think, for people to think about too, is like if you have big major lifestyle changes when you're tracking your benchmarks, you get pregnant, you get married, you get a new job, like things that like really kind of uproot your life and change it around. You might want to look at maybe what does your fitness look like going forward and resetting those numbers for sure. Cool. So benchmarks. Start there. What do you guys think would be a good next step?
I think it's a toss-up between nutrition and sleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those ones go hand in hand.
Yeah, it's hard. Because some people I would say nutrition and some people I would say sleep.
And even some people would say not hydration too.
Right.
Because some people, it's like they are not drinking enough. Or not eating the right foods. Or not getting enough, like you said, like not getting enough sleep. Yeah, just not getting enough. Or getting too much.
Okay.
Nutrition.
Ooh. Oh.
What do you guys think about
sleep? I was like, ooh, lucky.
Okay, what if I'm going to throw something in the spokes.
Okay.
Instead of nutrition and sleep, or either of those two, what if it was the in-body? So you're tracking your benchmarks.
Yep.
You're seeing those things getting better. We have an in-body, so we say an in-body, but a body fat test, basically. Something that's going to test your body fat and your muscle mass.
Body composition in general, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter, but stick to the same thing. Keep using it.
And not just a scale.
Because if your body fat's going down and your muscle mass is going up with whatever sleep or nutrition that you're doing at the moment and your benchmarks are getting better, why mess with it yet? I mean, there could be, people that are eating McDonald's and seeing that stuff getting better just because they're adding exercise in. But as a coach, I wonder if like it's still not people still may not be ready for it yet.
I think I'm also thinking about tracking nutrition and hydration in my mind is like not a long-term thing yet. Like, why don't we just track for a certain period of time and get a diagnostic? I think that's kind of so. I see what you're saying because I'm not necessarily saying like start tracking your food every day forever. More of like, let's get like a 3-day diagnostic. Like,
and this
what
could
does
be
it look
where
like?
the conversation starts with the coach and the athlete, right? Like, so you're tracking your benchmarks. Awesome. Let's see if these things get better. Hey, let's hop on the body fat machine and check it out. And you get on there and you're like, okay, cool. Everything looks really great. Like you're going in the right direction. Like, have you thought about maybe tracking a week's worth of food? just see where you're at, and then have them do it, but not actually track everything from then.
Right.
Like, I think that would be awesome. So find somebody or a place that you can go get your body fat tested and your muscle mass tested. I'll make sure you continue to go to that place. We have an InBody here at Coast Range. If you guys want to come use it, $20 drop-in, free for our members. Come on in.
Come on in.
Is it free for all members at Coast Range?
Coast Range Nutrition members, right?
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Sorry.
Well, I'm just going to be super honest. I'm not very good at charging the $20 fee.
Yeah.
Now that I've thought about it in my mind.
Yeah, I'm with you there. But most of the people that want to
Like,
get
yeah, you want to use the InBody? Come on in. We really care about you.
But most people that want to get their InBody are also doing their nutrition through us. That they want to get their good test, and people that aren't doing their nutrition through us, they might once in a while come in and say, I haven't done my InBody. Can I come in and get it done?
Yeah, of
sure,
course. That's fine.
But if you're like every week, it's like I need to get my InBody. Might need to.
Then we'll start charging you. Yeah, for sure. It's funny. I heard a podcast with CJ Martin the other day. And he was talking about how he never charged drop-in fees like for forever. And everybody's like, what are you doing, man? Like, charge it. And he's like, no, I'm stoked people want to come. The same thing we do here.
Right.
Finally, he started charging drop-in fees, made $40,000 extra that year on drop-ins.
Oh, my God.
So how many years was he missing out on, like, you know what I mean? $40,000.
What?
So
that is a very large amount. Well,
that's another coach's salary,
Southern California location?
Yeah, well, he's in downtown San Diego.
Yeah,
so he's getting tons and tons of drop-ins, especially Invictus. So
totally,
I'm not saying that would happen here, but it was just funny. Like
there could be a decent amount of that here. Not saying I want you to change it, but
no, we don't get enough.
The ranch charges like $75 a drop-in. That's on the website.
Oh, I think that Dave will do like a personal thing with you, though.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Like show you around.
Like he takes you on a run up the hill and takes you through a workout and stuff like that, and so you get the experience.
So is there only certain hours that's available?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Okay, so we've got tracking your benchmarks, then get on some sort of a body fat, muscle mass machine, start testing that. What do you guys think? How often should people, just generally, right, should people test it? I always say once a quarter. I think that's every 3 months.
I think it kind of depends on what you're doing, because if it's just for general, over time, generally taking a look. But if you've dramatically changed something and you want to keep tabs on that, it could be a little bit more frequently. Yeah. And like I have clients that range from like monthly to bi-monthly to weekly to every 2 weeks, so kind of deciding if you decide you're going to change something, if you're going to eat a different way for a certain period of time, I would recommend doing it more frequently to make sure you're trending in the right direction.
Totally.
So you don't miss anything along the way.
Yeah. I just think it's important that you are doing it regularly, though.
Totally. Yeah. Or like if you haven't done one, do one.
Yeah, if you're like going in your head like, I can't remember the last time I did that.
Right. And we sit down and talk about InBodies to people all the time.
Yeah, the second you get on it and we print that thing out, I go over it with you right away. Hey,
right.
Here's the things to look at. This is what I see. I especially love the InBody because of the imbalance thing.
Totally.
It shows like the muscle imbalance on left to right, and that's super awesome for us as coaches. So just info, and it keeps track of your stuff every single time you do it. And so every test you do, you don't have to like hold on to your piece of paper. It'll show you what you did last time and the time before that, and it'll show you trends over time. You had a really cool client the other day.
I keep meaning to I've gotten actually some really cool ones lately.
Yeah.
And I've been meaning to compile them, put them together, and post them via social media. But I have a lot of people get caught up with weighing themselves on the scale.
Yeah.
It's I feel like it's one of my life missions now to help people understand that the scale doesn't matter.
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
Sure.
But I had an InBody the other day of someone who gained a little bit of weight, not astronomical, but gained a little bit of weight.
It was 3 or 4 pounds.
I should pull it out. Something like that, 3 pounds. But I can fluctuate in weight 3 to 4 pounds per daily, depending, or
especially
weekly.
during Girl Scout cookie
season. So she had increased her muscle mass by almost the same amount and decreased her body fat percentage. So you could just see the weight gain was totally the correct kind of weight gain.
Yeah.
And it was I could sense the unsure feelings right away.
Well, it's so funny when you see that happen with people because they go, oh, because all they see is the weight.
The weight.
I gained weight, and it's look the
at
line
this.
below that.
Right. Just don't look at that.
Yeah, the line below that
And
says you lost 3% body fat.
Right.
Like,
it's
huge.
totally funny. Like, I wish I could be here every time one of my clients gets on the InBody. It just doesn't always work like that. But I want to be here so I can be like, no. Like, don't feel bad. Like, this is amazing. And they start to learn that and see that. But every time that happens, I'm like, see, weight lies. Or it doesn't lie. It's true. But it's not giving you the full picture.
Right. Yeah.
Is what it is. I just had someone else recently do the same thing. Lost like a tiny bit of weight, but she's been so fixated on looking at the scale every day. And so to her mind, that computes as no progress. But then the body fat percentage and the muscle mass, it made a huge change. So it's like, no, this is huge progress. Like, people kill to lose 2% body fat. Like, that's rad. So looking at that.
Cool. So start with benchmarks, then get on an InBody. Okay, now next, I want to throw another spoke in the wheels. I'm excited. I hope you guys pick something up. So we've got, all right, here's what we got left. So far, we've got 5 things with one that's an asterisk, so 6 total. But we've got written down your benchmarks, the InBody or body fat testing machine. We have sleep. We have mood/journaling. We have nutrition and hydration, and then the asterisk is the period for the ladies.
And some with the guys.
So benchmarks are done, InBody's done. Sleep, journaling, nutrition, or period. What would be next?
What, you said sleep, journaling, or periods? What would be next?
Or nutrition.
I'm really good at this.
Sleep, journaling. Sleep, journaling, nutrition, or period.
What would you guys put next?
Yeah, Brett, what would you put next?
If you've already been tracking your benchmarks, you've been tracking your InBody, I would probably be, if the next step to start tracking things, I would be probably put down nutrition.
Natalie?
But I think she might say something different.
What would you put? Okay, I'll tell you mine. I'd put journaling.
I knew one of you was going to pick that.
I'd put journaling next. Because I think through taking a step back and journaling morning or night or anything like that, I think night is really good, like right before you go to bed, kind of recapping your day. You might find some trends in there. So times that you felt tired, or days you felt upset, days you felt really happy, all that kind of stuff. And then I think that correlating those feelings next with your nutrition or maybe your sleep might help somebody be more willing to change their sleep or their nutrition if they see that by doing that it'll affect their overall mood during the day. You know, I feel happier. I feel like I have more energy. I feel like on the days that I ate really well, or the days that I meal prepped, or the weeks that I whatever. And so as a coach, I would take that information and be like, okay, so what this day right here that you felt awesome, what did we do that day? Let's go through your day. What did you do? You know, and then go through the timeline and be like, great, let's try to repeat that. Don't get crazy with your nutrition. Just repeat what you did on that day and let's see how it goes tomorrow, you know, and then the next day. And then maybe you can pick up some stuff. I don't know. I've never done that with somebody before, like actually gone through these steps and had it work like this, but I'm really intrigued with what that would look like before even diving into the nutrition stuff, you know?
And actually on my tracker that I have my clients fill out, it's on the notes on the side. There's this notes section. And then you can put down either whatever you want to be, how you felt that day, what workout you did, how did you feel, what was your sleep, you know, if something happened that day, is there a reason why the numbers look like this?
Totally.
So it's almost like a combination tracker / journal for you. And also, when I do check-ins, one of the questions is, how's your mood been?
Yeah.
Well, people have a hard time because they're tracking in whatever tracking system they're using, like MyFitnessPal or whatever it is, and then they're tracking in my tracker. And if a couple times I was like, should I just nix my tracker and just go into their MyFitnessPal and just see that they're hitting their numbers? Because it seems like for some people that's just an extra step. And then I like stepped back, but I stepped back and was like, no, because the most pivotal part of that tracker is the notes. Like, and when people utilize the notes, I'm like, so I've kept it because I'm like, even if you don't put your numbers in that night, but you write it in the notes on that day, And then before check-ins, if you go in and filter your numbers in, so at least you're only doing it one time, and you just fill it in, then you can see. Like, it's just such a visual.
Yeah, and it's great for the check-in because it's just take a step back and look at your bullet points.
Right.
Oh,
And-
that's how I felt last week.
Right. And so I won't nix the tracker. I will fight for people to fill out their tracker because I'm like, look at that. Like, look at that. Look at you felt like that.
Brett's doing my nutrition.
I know.
For how long have we been doing it?
Since January? Mid-January?
So over a month, and I haven't filled out a thing.
No.
Not
Good
a
job,
single
Wes.
thing.
Laughs hysterically. You laugh, but like, you know, I do my own tracker.
No, it's great because like
Like,
honestly,
I give myself my own tracker, like that I make for all my clients
looks like
every
you got
month.
a lot of stuff in there.
It's the second day of March.
Where's yesterday? Where's yesterday? There's nothing in that one either.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But like trying to
Yes.
get myself to do that even because it's like, one, practice what you preach.
Okay, so then let's.
And two, like I use it for myself too. Like
Yeah,
Okay.
I
use a
PR'd my
tracker.
3-rep max jerk. I didn't, but you know, like things like that.
Okay, but let's really talk about that for a second.
Okay.
When I am training for something, you know, like it's easy for me to track my food. It's easy for me to fill that stuff out because it's synergistic with the goal that I have. And if I don't do that, I know I'm not going to be the best. Right now, my goal is like, I don't really know. Like my goal is to be a fit dad and to enjoy my time with my family. I want to take my shirt off and feel good about myself, you know? And so for some reason, it doesn't feel as necessary for me to use a tracker, to do any of that stuff, even though I know it is.
Well, why do you have a nutrition coach then?
Exactly. And the point I'm trying to get to here is if we tie it back into this, is I wonder if I'm going to start doing this.
I'm going to hold you to that for Brett's sake.
Yes. And I wonder if the journaling part every night will make me more excited to start tracking my food, you know, and help me like,
See the difference.
yeah, see the difference. Like, how did I feel today? But there's got to be certain parameters around it then. Like, when I'm journaling, like, what are the things I should be writing down? What do you guys think? Like, if I was going to set up a journal and maybe put, like, a few different, like, areas. Okay, make sure you check in on how was my mood today overall?
Mood, energy.
Workout?
Yeah, workouts like how do you feel when you work out?
Uh-huh. So mood, energy, working out. What else? Keep going.
What was something cool that happened today?
Energy.
Something positive. Someone's like, oh, that was a cool thing today. It could be anything with either.
I do, like, 3 positives.
Okay.
When I do it, like no matter what, like, okay, what were 3 good things that happened today, even if I had like the worst day ever? And we actually have a text thread between us and all of the remote athletes that I have that like Belize and Seattle, and they text the 3 things they want to accomplish that day. At the end of the day, the three cool things that happened to them at the end of the day. And it's like pretty cool. So they all hold each other accountable. They're like, somebody doesn't text, they're like, hey, where are you at? Where are your 3 things? You know, and they're like, oh, I don't have 3 things today. It was just a crappy day. And they're always like, there's always 3 things. You could find 3 things. Like, you're alive. That's 1. Number 2, you got all 4 limbs. That's cool too.
I'm breathing.
Yeah, like, you know, and so that's been really cool. So I like that, like 3 positives. And then one of the other things that I do, I don't know if this was smart or not, but I plan my next day. So plan tomorrow.
Sure.
Just go through my calendar, look at what I got supposed to do tomorrow, write down any notes on anything that we're supposed to be doing, like probably we should do for the podcast, instead of 10 seconds before we start going, hey, what do you want to do?
Try to do that like 12 times.
This is like the most improvisational podcast that's out there.
I love
It's
it,
gotta
man.
be.
It's great. I was talking to somebody about that yesterday. They were like, how do you guys come up with what you're going to talk about? And I was like, well, about 5 seconds before we start, we say, what do you want to talk about? And then they say this. And I'm like, all right, cool, let's talk about it. And they're like, that's rad. Because it just seems so much like more real. Like it's just, you know, we're not sitting down and coming up with notes and what we want to hit on and all that stuff. We're just, this is how we feel. So we're just what we're talking about. I love it. All right, I'm going to start doing that, Brett. Okay. Nutrition coach.
I believe in you.
Here we go. And we'll see if that goes. Okay,
Well,
so
it's really fast. One more thing about that, the tracker, putting notes in, things like that too, is I have tried the nutrition coach thing. Like I've had a nutrition coach. I tried to go down that route, and it was cool. Like don't get me wrong, it wasn't like the worst thing ever, but I stepped back because I realized I have a good diagnostic like checklist for myself that made it easier for me to change the things that I needed to change for myself, if that makes sense. Like, I probably will never give my nutrition to somebody else unless it's like super crazy, like I do something like super gnarly.
It's like out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, out of my comfort zone, and like I totally need somebody else to walk me through that. But the like, it's huge, like that. I guess what I'm saying is with a tracker, you can help empower somebody else to do that too. Because the deal is I don't want everyone needing a nutrition coach forever, if that makes sense. Like,
No, yeah,
I want
totally.
you to be able to associate
The goal
these
is
things
that
with you
everybody
as well.
gets off of our nutrition program
Right,
at some point
right.
and takes it over themselves.
Right.
Right.
Unless they're like high level athletes who like just need that sort of accountability and need that sort of like
Well, constant changing depending on
help.
what they're
Yeah,
working
totally.
on.
Ebbing and flowing and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Like, you want to be able to associate those things with what's happening via tracker and your mood and things like that. So I feel like I have been the best with my nutrition when I do it myself and I keep tabs like on myself emotionally, physically, and, you know, give myself the diagnostics to do that. And then I can see like, oh, this worked really well. This didn't work so well. Or I'm freaking mad, or I'm hungry, or,
Yeah.
you know, it's just like, it's easy stuff to sort of use with yourself. Your body's gonna tell you what you need after a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So journaling. Start journaling your feelings, guys. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think Wes wrote a list and he just went through the list. I think it's important though to kind of start somewhere where you feel like you can maintain that. Like, if you told me to do that, I would be like,
It's too much.
I would start doing it and then I would stop doing it. So maybe pick like 3 like
We had mood, energy, your workout, your 3 positives, and plan tomorrow.
maybe just start with mood, energy, workout.
Yeah.
And just get
Or
those
even
diagnostics.
even just your mood.
Right. And just start to create the habit of doing it. Because when I get to like, I feel like the bookends of my days get crazy as it is.
Totally. You're just like trying to get to sleep
Right.
so you can wake
then,
up on time.
Right. And so it just like pick things that you can maintain so that you don't feel bummed that you didn't stick with something you wanted to stick with.
I think
And then you can build
that's
on
a
that.
really great point. Is that I have a tendency to just be like, all right, I'm all in. Let's do this. You know what I mean? And like most people aren't, and it shouldn't be really. And so I think that's a really good point to just really pick one, make the habit, which means like take your journal, and when you're in the morning, like rushing around, throw it on your pillow. And then leave. So when you come home at night and you get out of the shower and you're about to get into bed, your journal's sitting on your pillow, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm in a journal. Sit down and really quick, you know.
Totally.
I also like the planning for tomorrow because that sets you up for success.
That's huge for me.
Oh yeah,
if
I
I
tell
do that,
people all the time. It's like plan out the day. If when working out, what you're going to eat, so that everything's done. So that when you get done by then tomorrow, everything you can look back at it. And it's like, yeah, I did
this is
that.
what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Or it gives you such confidence too. I picked up my coffee mug like there was coffee in there, and I was going to drink it, even though I knew that there wasn't coffee in
Oh,
there.
bummer.
Like magically, it was going to come up from the bottom. I think that, like, even just like looking at your day the next day, making just quick mental notes on like, okay, I've got this meeting tomorrow with this person. Oh, I should really quick look up something about this person or whatever it is. Like that gives you confidence going into your meetings the next day or whatever it is you're going to be doing, instead of like, I didn't have time to do this. I don't know what's happening. And like, you're kind of like frantic. Even if I just spend like 2 seconds thinking about what, okay, I've got, Thomas tomorrow. Like, what's the workout? What are we going to do? Oh, okay, cool. Like,
I'm ready.
I don't know exactly what we're going to do, but I got a good understanding of what I want to accomplish.
Right.
And that's
Sure.
better than nothing. So
Totally.
Cool. All right. So next, now we're finally on nutrition, sleep, or for the ladies, their periods. So out of nutrition or sleep, we'll just go nutrition or sleep. Which ones would be next? That's tough.
Yeah.
I think sleep would be easier for people to track.
Sure.
You just get
less work.
get a sleep cycle app, put it next to your bed, and just
Some kind of tracking app, whether it be Whoop or Sleep Cycle, or if your iPhone has a tracker, or whatever it is,
yeah,
start using it.
What are they looking for when they're tracking their sleep?
Or cycles of sleep. How many are they getting through the cycles? Are they getting enough sleep itself? And then what cycle are they getting through the cycles that they want?
So it would be the overall amount of sleep that you're getting.
Yep.
So ideal is like 7 hours. That's ideal. 8
7+ hours.
could
ideal.
be better. 9 could be worse or could be better depending on the workload of the person that day. 10 could be worse, could be better, right? Like I think it's not like you got to get 8. It's like get a little more than you're getting now, but know how much you're getting now. And then the cycles that Brett is talking about is like our light sleep into our deep sleep cycles. So are you staying in light sleep the whole time, meaning that you're in this area that can be woken up, or are you getting through the deep sleep cycles where the body's getting repaired and then coming back out of it? And so most of the fitness trackers that people have aren't super, super accurate, right? Like they just use the microphone on the phone to hear you if you move around, and there's so many other noises that could happen that could cause that thing to think that you're whatever. But that's not the point. The point is that you're just doing it and you're getting an understanding of like, wow, I only got 4 hours. Does that say 4 hours of sleep? Well, 4 hours of light sleep. I looked at Nat's looking at hers right now, and I was like, you got 4 hours of sleep? Well, because
I'm intrigued because I always tell people, like, I try to look at mine, and I find myself getting so, like, caught up in life that I'm like, oh, I got 8 hours of sleep. Okay, cool. Like, I slept for 8 hours. I'm good.
But not that.
But like quality. Not looking at the stages and like looking at how much deep sleep I'm getting, how much, like what cycles I am going through, and the fact that maybe I'm not going through a full cycle of sleep.
Yeah, and you're not. You're not missing a lot of deep sleep. You're seeing a lot of light sleep.
I get all my deep sleep at the beginning, and then
it's hard to get back into a rhythm. So why do you think that's happening?
I don't know.
Well, what would be the things that would cause somebody not to get into deep sleep?
It's consistent too, that happens.
Like, I would imagine noise would be one thing. Like your body's about to get into that deep sleep state.
We know it's not alcohol.
We definitely know it's not alcohol. That's for sure. But like if there's a little bit of noise going on, or the person is in an unfamiliar territory.
My sleep wasn't that great on this past weekend. That's for sure. I slept better last night than I did the other 2 nights.
Yeah, when you're in an unfamiliar territory, whether it be at a hotel or an Airbnb or something like that, your body usually kind of shuts down half of the brain and keeps the other half awake for threat assessment. So it could be a little bit of that.
It was funny, speaking of when we were downstairs in the house sleeping, and you guys were upstairs, and I don't know what happened, who dropped it. It's like somebody dropped like a lipstick thing or something, and we can hear it roll across. We can see it just like, there it goes over there. It's so funny because all hardwood. So
yeah, I'm not
You're
sure.
You're consistent with that.
Super.
And like, that's where your body heals.
Yeah.
So in case people don't know, light sleep is usually where the brain kind of gets repaired, things are categorized, that kind of stuff. And then deep sleep, you have 4 different stages of deep sleep that you go through, and within each stage there's a different thing that happens in the body. The body's kind of getting repaired. So you got this mind and body kind of back and forth that's happening. And if we see somebody stuck in light sleep too much, their body might not be getting repaired enough, or deep sleep too much, their brain might not be getting repaired. So you might see like people who don't get a lot of light sleep may feel really foggy the next day. They kind of wake up and feel like they're on drug. Like, what, did I take NyQuil last night? Or like, what's going on? That kind of like fog. And then people who aren't getting a lot of deep sleep maybe have a lot of aches and pains, aren't recovering as well. They're going to be doing the Mid-Atlantic Challenge pretty soon, and they should probably be recovering a lot better, you know?
Yeah.
And performance may go down in the gym. So that's great for you guys to be tracking that stuff and looking back on, wow, yeah, my benchmarks haven't been getting better. And, oh, my deep sleep has been kind of crappy. You know, how can I get myself into better deep sleep? You can make your room really dark. You can make sure that you're in a comfortable place. You can keep your house a little colder. 68 degrees is ideal so that you want to get under the covers. You can make sure your nutrition and your hydration are dialed in too. Stress is low. So like meditation or ROMWOD or some sort of stretching routine right before you go to bed. Have you started ROMWOD yet? You did? Right before you go to bed? Cool. Let's see if that helps.
Well, it seems like the beginning of sleep is fine.
Yeah.
And it's as I get to the later hours of sleep, I'm not going through a full cycle.
Are you a quick sleeper? Like you go to bed and it's like, boom, you're out? Or
no.
It takes a little bit?
It's not like Sam who's like asleep all of a sudden.
That's me.
It's not bad, though. Like, I'm not tossing and turning for a while before I fall asleep, but it's definitely longer than him.
Why is it that guys, it seems like everyone I talk to, guys fall asleep so much faster than women?
I personally think it's because you guys can turn your brain off easier than a chick can.
Well, that's not true, because Megan can fall asleep in a heartbeat and I'm up all night.
Oh, okay.
You know, and I think that really is what it comes down to, is like, is that person under a lot of mental stress or not? If you're under mental stress, it's hard for you to go to sleep because you can't clear your brain, which journaling might help you do that.
Totally.
And if you're not under a lot of mental stress, so like you kind of just are happy with your life, you probably just pass out right away, you know? Like Meg gets in bed and literally she'll be like, yeah, you know, I think that's a good idea for us to do tomorrow. And then I get that twitch, you know, where she like punches me in the face.
Yep.
Okay, I thought we were talking. What just happened? So yeah, okay, so sleep. Let's track our sleep. That would be next. Sleep Cycle is a great app for you guys to use.
Free?
It's just, it's free. It's on your phone. Super simple. If you guys want to spend some money, there's definitely some good wearable trackers that you guys could use. I use a Whoop. I was using a Whoop until I lost my Whoop hopefully I'll get a new one. Whoop is great. It takes over 100 different snapshots of your strain or your sleep within every second. So every second is taking 100 different readings of different things, whether that be heart rate variability, resting heart rate, strain on the body, your sleep cycles, those types of things, types of movement. So that's a really good one. Any other, what do you use?
My watch.
What is it?
I have a Garmin
What?
Vivo Active 3.
How much was that?
I have no idea. It's probably around like the $300 price range.
That's kind of what Whoop is. It's like $250, I think.
Yeah, I used gift cards for it, like REI gift cards for it, but I think it was around the 300, maybe 200.
Yeah, so you guys can, start with a free app like Sleep Cycle and see if you do it.
Yeah, this does a lot more than just sleep, but it is one of the things that it does do.
Some Fitbits track sleep as well. What was it, that ring, the
Aura
ring? Mm-hmm. That's also one. Have you heard
that? Yeah, it's like a wedding ring.
Yeah,
I have seen that. That's pretty cool too. They all just use near infrared light, right?
I think so.
Yeah, so they're like, it's almost an infrared light that basically just sees the difference between dark shades of blood and light shades of blood, and it just reflects it back. So I don't know, whatever.
It's supposed to be really, really
There's a lot of nerdy stuff with that.
Exactly.
It's super fun and cool to look at if you have the time. But start tracking your sleep. And then I guess the last thing
nutrition
would be like actually tracking your macros and tracking how much protein, carb, fat, and calories you're getting in every day, and maybe how many veggies and all that stuff. I think that this is awesome, the way that we did this, because it really shows that, like, I think a lot of people do everything when they not do everything. Let me start over. I think a lot of people will get a nutritionist and think that the nutritionist's job is to give them a nutrition
plan.
Here you go. Here's your nutrition plan. Eat this food.
Here's this meal plan.
See you next week. You're going to lose a bunch of weight. It's going to be awesome. But really, this is actually kind of what you guys go through when you're sitting down with your clients and you're going through your initial assessment. Is You're going like, all right,
what's life like?
Yeah, what's life like? How's the things going in the gym? Do you feel like you're getting better at the gym? Are you sleeping well? Are you, how's your mood? All that stuff is kind of done in the beginning phases of it to kind of sift through that. And a lot of times you guys will, if somebody's like, no, I'm not tracking my sleep and I'm not doing that, you have them start doing that stuff. Right. And so it's all synergistic and goes together. And I think each one builds on it. Like, I don't know. I guess you could do any of these really in any order that you want, right?
Well, and depending on who you are.
Yeah, and probably see great improvement. But I think that if you're just starting out, you're like, oh, I'm new to this whole fitness thing and trying to get my life in order. Like, this would probably be a really cool way for you guys to start. Is just like, get in the gym, you're there, you're working out, start looking at your benchmarks, then get on InBody, start journaling, get some sleep, work on your nutrition. Let's talk about the ladies.
Tracking your period.
Yeah. Track that.
Yeah, I track my period and
close button.
Sam tracks my period too.
Smart man.
So that goes to show how it can affect other people as well.
That's funny. He has like a reminder on his phone that pops up.
He literally has an app.
That's awesome.
Tracks my
That
period.
was funny. So yesterday I sent you a text. I need to know your period dates because we're getting ready for Mid-Atlantic. And so there's definitely, from a programming standpoint, things you have to do with ladies in their period. And like usually the first 14 days is like rage, let's go, of the cycle that we're talking about, the whole month cycle. First 14 days is like, that's high volume, high carbohydrates, high intensities. Then the next like 14 days is a little bit lower. And then that last week or so, like it should be pretty kind of like back off, which usually works well with cycles anyways, as long as they're built upon it. But, but yeah, you responded back super fast.
Yeah. Well, I have
like it was like 10 seconds, man. She had like a full on like this day. I usually feel like this during these times. I was like, whoa, cool.
Well, it's when I natural family plan. So I don't do birth control. So I already have to know my schedule because I'm not trying to get pregnant anytime soon. Conversely, when I do get pregnant or when I do want to get pregnant, I know exactly when it is that I can get pregnant. So starting to just dial that stuff in preparation for getting pregnant too. But it also tells me like a ton about myself, my life, how I'm feeling, all of that stuff. So knowing like when I'm ovulating, when I'm fertile, like all of that stuff is, I feel different during all of it. So I use an app, just one that I found that I randomly liked, but it tells me like when I'm going to start my period, for how long, and then it allows me to put the symptoms in, like what I'm feeling. And I think that that's like the most critical thing for me, is like when I look at my cycle tracking app, it'll tell me
What's
like
the name of the app?
how I felt. I use Clue.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I use Clue, and it has like it has a circle on it, and it tells you where you are in your cycle, and then it tells you when you're going to start your period. And then it actually gives you like a calendar of the same thing, and it says like, oh, I know I'll start my period on this date, and it'll last for approximately this long. I do get bad sometimes at tracking how long they are. Like consistently I have like 5 to 6, maybe 7 day periods, but like the last one I tracked, I only tracked like 3 or 4 days, but at least I know when I started, so that it'll keep the cycle going. So yeah, it's cool. And then it gives like a list of symptoms that I've tracked in my history.
Cool.
Which is awesome. And there's like things that I notice in my home life, in my work life, eating wise, training wise, how I feel, how I don't feel. So I think it's crucial for women. I think it's crucial for people who interact with women very closely, like husbands and, boyfriends, partners. It's something to consider as well.
Absolutely.
Just because it can give you a lot of insight into why maybe so. I am like, can clearly identify it. I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to start my period. One, because I'm raging like a really mean person, or like just I'm quick to emotion, things like that.
Yeah.
So, and then I have a good idea. So, and I want to know with training wise, like, okay, I'm going to have to give a little extra mental strength for this one, because I'm going to feel like trash when I work out. And that usually comes like while I'm on my period, maybe like right about to start my period, but like a few days before I'm on my period, I feel awesome. Like I'm like, whoa, I like.
Well, that's the peak of
I like my body composition more.
Progesterone and estrogen like are peaking at that time, and so
I'm like, whoa, I look like I'm getting fitter, and I'm like, dang, like I'm just going, and then
boom,
like a few days later, I'm like, whoa, I feel like crap, and I'm huge, and I'm slow, and I don't have any fitness.
And that's great to be able to take a step back from a data standpoint and be like, oh, it's because I'm at this spot.
And then I can associate it too with like conversations with Sam. If like maybe I'm a little bit less patient, I'll actually like think about it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's not an excuse. Like, oh, that wasn't me talking, it was my period. But no, it's like, whoa, I'm super sorry. I don't know why I was so impatient with that. And then I was like, my hormones are kicking up, and like identifying that, just like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to act like that.
I'm sorry that I just chewed your head off. And
I'm sorry that I'm crazy.
So we put an asterisk on that period one, because I think that for ladies, you should probably just start doing that, regardless of where you're at in this cycle of tracking these things that we said you should track. Like that would probably be like first thing for the ladies, is get that going, because it works so synergistically with everything else we talked about today. As far as like, if you get on the InBody and you have a little bit extra water weight, like that would make sense when you're on your period, or your benchmarks aren't getting better during these times because you're at the end of your cycle or whatever, and you're journaling. My mood sucked this week. Well, you're on your period. Okay, cool.
Right.
That's great. And for what about like girls that don't have their periods?
Well, so I was going to say, your period can be a good indicator of if something is wrong or right.
So if girls are training at a high level, or for whatever reason are not getting their period, what is that like?
I don't know exactly. I know that that's more common than we think, but I don't know that it's like a it's like when girls pee their pants when they double under.
Yeah, it's like it happens, but
it's not, it shouldn't. Like it's not something that like should be happening. Like we can mitigate some of, we can change it. It's like high level athletes who don't get their period. It's like, well, I'm just a high level athlete, I don't get my period. It's like, whoa, no, like you are supposed to have your period. Let's figure out what's wrong hormonally. What's wrong? Maybe you're a high level athlete and you're super stressed and now your hormones are all out of whack. Hell yeah, you don't have a period. But you can be a high level athlete and still have your period.
Yes, but you can also be a high level athlete and not have your period and still be healthy.
Yes, true.
But
it's just a good thing to make note of. Like, oh, I'm not getting my period.
Yeah.
Let's get some other things tested and figure out what's
like,
up.
Whoa, I just peed my pants during those double unders. let's look at it.
Let's figure out why that's happening.
Yeah, totally.
You know, or like what's the deal?
And it's great for athletes too. Like, and if you're working closely with a coach, like that coach should know that, especially if you're getting ready for a competition or something like that. Like that is a big deal. This more, in my opinion, than anything, more just for the mental health of the athlete going into it and knowing where they're going to line up with that competition or whatever it is that they're doing and their cycle. So they know going into it emotionally how they should be feeling, physically how they should be feeling, and maybe if they should or shouldn't be doing that sanctional. You know, like if you look at that, like it might be if you're really trying to make a run for it and make the CrossFit Games, like maybe that's not the best time to do it when you're at the end of your cycle.
Yeah, like looking at Mid-Atlantic, like I will be just getting off or like kind of weaning off of my period, which isn't super ideal, but it's better than like
a week
2
before.
or 3 days before.
Yeah, totally.
You know, so I'm like, okay, that's a little bit more comforting for me. But I do know like that week before, I'm probably not going to feel super stoked on my fitness, and I'm going to be like, what did I do?
Totally.
What? But it's good for me now. I know that, and I can associate something with that looking at it. So
sweet. Let's recap. So if you're going to start tracking some stuff, here's what we suggest. We should start with tracking your benchmarks. So get an app, get a piece of paper, do what you got to do, but start tracking your benchmarks inside of the gym. From there, get on an InBody. Come find us at Coast Range CrossFit. We'll be able to put you on ours if you want, or find a local one near you. There's a lot of CrossFit gyms that have those things, so I'm sure if you hit them up, they'll probably let you know. Quick little drop-in. Then third, we said mood and journaling. So starting to, at the end of the night, just track how your day went. Some things you can do is track your mood for the day, your energy levels, your workout, maybe 3 positives, and then a plan for tomorrow. But remember, don't dive straight into that stuff. Like Natalie said, maybe start with 1 or 2 of those things, like your mood and your energy, or maybe your mood and your workout. Great place to start. After that, we're looking at sleep. So get a sleep app like Sleep Cycle on your phone. It's free on the App Store. Or you can invest some money into it and get something like what Natalie has, that Garmin or a Whoop are awesome. Fitbit works as well.
Aura Ring.
Aura Ring. Those are all options. And then finally, actually sitting down and like typing in your MyFitnessPal, my protein, carb, and fat and calories and what I'm eating all the time. And then ladies, make sure you're tracking that period. I think that's super important.
I agree.
Cool.
Awesome.
We have some very exciting things coming your guys' way, so be sure to keep your eye on Coast Range Nutrition. I want to like say more stuff, but I'm scared to give it all away. You know? So just keep your eye on Coast Range Nutrition's Instagram. Keep your eye on Nat Loves You 22 on Instagram, and nutrition_by_Brett
2 T's
with 2 T's, motherfucker.
Whoa.
And then
now you got to put an explicit.
I know I got to put it explicit, but I kind of stopped that and it didn't come out. And then don't follow me. Cool, guys. We love you, and we'll see you next time.
You're the worst.